welcome back to Homestead in a Box. My name is Leah and I'm super grateful to have you here. It's been a few weeks since I've put out a YouTube video. I went with some family down to Pensacola, Florida, and we enjoyed some time down there with each other. Came back home, celebrated Independence Day with some friends, and here I am. I'm just now really kind of getting back into the groove, getting the garden weeded, getting my plan in order of things that need to come out that are ready to harvest and things that need to be replanted. Today I want to talk about the number one question I've been asked in the last 2 weeks is, can I still plant blank? Okay, and the blanks have been anywhere from watermelon, zucchini, squash, okra, tomatoes, peppers. I have gotten so many questions on what can I still plant. And so today, as always, I'm going to talk to you about what you can plant. It's July 5th here in Oklahoma. I hope everyone had a wonderful Independence Day. And so honestly, I'm just going to jump right into this video because it's going to be packed full, lots of great information for you all today. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to be harvesting these pumpkins, so I'm just snipping them at the top. And you might ask, why am I harvesting these when they're still kind of a little smaller? One is because they're covered with aphids. And I can take these out, and these actually, a pumpkin can store for 2 to 3 months before it starts to go bad under the proper conditions. So I'm taking these ones out. I'm gonna spray the soil this evening with just some peppermint castile soap, and then tomorrow I'm going to plant some more pumpkins in this spot. Just really trying to get the aphid population down, and basically the aphids have already taken over this plant. Pumpkin vines, they're viney, they hurt, so they're not the easiest thing to be picking aphids off of. So I'm making the executive decision to go ahead and to harvest these. That way I don't have to worry about losing any of them. So I'm going to grab the rest of these. I feel like I just did a lot of work that, had I planned that differently, it could have went a lot faster. But I didn't. So let's take a look at what these aphids look like. Ugh. Okay, y'all. Look, there's one right there. Trying to get its way. I squish them. Some people think it's gross, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Look at all of them. Those are all aphids. So I have to come treat this area pretty quickly. They're all over the ground. So that's what I'm gonna do real quick, is come treat this. Okay, so I have some peppermint castile soap and just water, and I'm just gonna spray the area down pretty good. Alright, total transparency, I filled up another jug and went ahead and sprayed again. I'm going to show you what it looks like after I have finished spraying. I mean, you can see the aphids that were in their tracks when I hit them, and so I want to show you what that looks like, because this is just an all-natural, great for your garden. I use it for almost anything, really. Only thing I haven't tried on is the flea beetles that took my eggplants, but I probably should try it on those. But it's just peppermint castile soap and water, literally. So I'm going to show you these aphids real quick, and then we're going to move on. So I made sure to go ahead around the bottom of all of my other plants, that way they didn't run. But look at these here. These aphids are actually dead here. That's where I hit them with the peppermint castile soap. You can see where I hid them. There's a couple in the garden bed that are dead. It kind of cramped my style because I was going to plant my pumpkins this evening. So yeah, I was gonna plant my pumpkins this evening. However, I'm just gonna let that sit there overnight, and then I'll come out in the morning and plant my pumpkins. And what I'm planting in replace of that is I'm gonna do one plant each, and I'm gonna do a small sugar pumpkin. And then I'm gonna do a Casper pumpkin, a white pumpkin. And then I'm going to do this Autumn Goldbush F1. This is a 70-day to harvest pumpkin, which is pretty quick for a pumpkin. So I said earlier, we're roughly like 120, maybe 120 days until Halloween, something along those lines. So I know that 70 days to harvest, I have that amount of time to get those planted. So in the morning, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna plant these where I just pulled those other pumpkins out. So let's move on. Okay, over here you can see that a lot of my onions have died. The leaves are starting to turn brown and fall over. That just means that they're ready to harvest. I need to come harvest them. That way I can get something planted in its place. All right, my corn is another thing. It's just about ready to harvest. It's getting there. They say knee-high by the 4th of July, but mine is really, really high and it's almost harvestable. So I'm going to be harvesting this, but then I have a early corn, which is 75-day corn. I'm going to come in and cultivate a row here on the outside right here, and I am going to plant another row of corn just to see. Gardening for me is all about experimenting with different things, so I'm definitely going to experiment. This last row here, right here of corn, is glass gem corn. And I'm really excited because I can start to see some corn forming in here. And last year my glass gem corn didn't do all that great. All right, my okra is starting to look really good. I need to grab these cucumbers right here. That way more will form. And then it is time for me to pick purple whole peas, black eye peas, whatever it is you want to call them. Some are more ripe, or some are more ready than others. And the problem I'm having here is I've been having to water my sunflowers quite a bit. You can see how they're kind of dying at the bottom, to where beans don't really like a lot of water. Okay, so you can see how I have yellowing around some of my bean leaves here. That's from too much water from me watering these sunflowers here. And my sunflowers are beautiful, so I will continue watering them. However, I'm going to be planting some more beans, and so I think over here in this empty spot here where I just have a couple random bean plants, I'm going to come in and cultivate some more rows and plant some more jade. They're called jade beans here. Look how beautiful this sunflower plant is. I mean, she's massive, y'all. There's so many heads on her. It's crazy. Gosh, she's so beautiful. But behind her is some dead strawberry plants. It was like 103, 105 whenever I was gone, and it was just so hot. Almost everything in the container died. Almost everything, not everything. But behind it you can see where my carrots were at. And let me tell you a lesson I learned. So real quick tidbit about my carrots. A couple videos back I had made the comment about how you can leave your carrots in the ground if you don't have a place to store them. And although that is a fact and that is true, just take into consideration if you're going to store them in the ground in the summertime, that once it gets so hot the tops die. Okay, so last week we had temps, like it was like 3 or 4 days of 103, 104, 105, and most of the tops died off of my carrots, and when I came out to pick them, the tops just kind of came off with them. And so I actually had to get a shovel to dig whatever carrots out that I wanted. So duly note that, lesson learned. Carrots can store in the ground, but just be very considerate about the temperatures outside because the tops will still die off. So, lesson learned there. Aunt Connie's a beaut. Gosh, she's so pretty. All right, so my carrots, and then I have some bell peppers here. Some of my bell peppers ended up with blossom end rot, I believe. So definitely need to check that. I see one of them turned red down here, but it's dead. Okay, super soggy there. This is packed full of more. So I've been watering this bed a lot recently. That's why things look a little bit lighter of a green. Even my peppers and things down there did. So I'm definitely gonna hold off on watering this for a few days. Look at how big that is. Oh my gosh. Y'all, super excited. My basil, I need to come out and harvest this basil. I actually have basil in the dehydrator right now and a huge bundle that needs to go in behind it. Here is my eggplant. You can see all the holes. It's flea beetles. It's flea beetles. I even have baby eggplants on here, you know? Let me get this weed out of the way because real life here is I need to weed my garden. But they're just real spongy. I mean, maybe too much water, but I don't think so because when I put my moisture meter in there, it doesn't say too much water. But who knows? I think I might hit them with some peppermint castile soap this evening. The problem is I don't see any flea beetles on here, and normally I do see them. So honestly, I'm gonna have to go to Google for that. My flowers are struggling in the heat, but that's just the reality of it. All right, so I spent yesterday and this evening in here kind of weeding this garden, getting it ready for another round of planting. My cherry tomatoes, they're all looking great. They really are. They're even still putting on in areas, which is great. Here's these radish I harvested. Look how big they are. Okay, I wear a size 10 in women's. That is over 12 inches long. There's some empty spots here from where some cucumbers died. And I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna put some winter squashes here. My green tomatoes, green giants, are doing fantastic. One of them weighed 1 pound 7 ounces, and one I just weighed today weighed 1 pound 10 ounces. Here's the last of the cucumbers I have going, and I'm just gonna plant some more cucumber seeds because again, I still have plenty of time to do that. You can probably hear Ariel and Mulan crying in the background. Here I have some zucchini, again also dealing with a little bit of aphid issues, so I'm going to spray that with peppermint castile soap this evening. My watermelon didn't do as great this year. Look y'all, what's that? Okay, check out that. Water issues, I do believe. There's one over there. But hey, you win some, you lose some. I was able to buy some delicious watermelon while I was in Mississippi, so that was good. All right, let's move over here to this bed. All of my Amish pastes are looking fantastic. Look at this, y'all. Those are all Amish paste tomatoes. They're huge. Look at that. So big. Clusters, just clusters. I love it. Over here, some more Amish paste. I just harvested a lot of my tomatoes last night, so some good old clusters here. Okay. Look at this beauty. Gosh, so beautiful. And here. This has got some on it. They're doing great. Even now, they're still putting on. Look at this cluster. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tomatoes on that cluster. There's 4 over here on this one. I don't know if you can see it. That's insane. Okay, and then even when you come up my plants, I still have baby tomatoes coming on, so that's super awesome. Very excited about that. I am going to be getting my 12-foot ladder and standing next to that mamma jamma because I'm pretty sure she's taller than 12 foot already. Look at that. Beautiful. Hasn't even came to a head yet. Over here I've got some of my sunflowers. This one's about to come open. Pineapple sage here. Need to come weed. Mint. longevity spinach, oregano going to flower. I need to come harvest that. Some honeydew melon, sage, rosemary, and thyme. All right. I love it. Okay, so that is what my garden is looking like right now. A lot of things are fixing to just be coming in and harvest. Like my counters are full of tomatoes and cucumbers and yellow squash right now. I'm trying to preserve as many things as possible. If you don't follow us on social media, go check us out on social media. You'll find out we recently just purchased a Harvest Right freeze dryer. So I have all the new ways to preserve the harvest that I do have out here. I'm super excited about it. All right, as promised, real quick, I'm gonna just lay a list out for you all of some things here that you can still plant. I'm in Oklahoma, zone 7B, estimated 130 days till my first estimated first frost. And I am currently planting by seed cucumbers, green beans, purple whole peas, zinnias, cosmos, yellow squash, zucchini, pumpkin, and I'm also going to do another round of corn and sunflowers. So that's what I'm planting here this week. Going to be cultivating a few extra rows to add in some extras that I'm just direct sowing into my garden. Most of those things, out of all of those things, the pumpkin and the corn require the longest, which are about 100 days. Well, I know I have at least 130 days until my first estimated frost, so I'm chancing it. Worst case scenario is my corn. Out of all of those things, my corn will maybe not come to full heads because they just may not. It may not be hot enough. You know what I'm saying? Like the later we get into the season. So really all of this is just an experiment, and it's all trial and error. You do not know if you do not try. I've had several, like I said in the beginning of the video, people messaging me asking, what can I still plant, y'all? Well, there's a list of things that you can still plant. Plant the flowers, plant the food, plant whatever you want to plant, okay? Just know your things like tomatoes and peppers, things like that. If you can buy plant starts of those right now, go buy those. And I know I said I was going to do a video over how to double your tomato harvest by pruning suckers and letting them root, but in the reality of it, I just didn't make the time for that. I didn't make the time to do that. My tomatoes are putting off great. I'm willing to just take one phase of tomatoes and not have that fall tomato harvest if I don't get it. But right now the weather's doing so great here in Oklahoma, my tomatoes are still forming flowers and still forming fruit, so I'm okay there. So really, y'all, it's just trying it and seeing what works, okay? Grow the things that you're going to eat and just put the seed in the ground. That's all you have to do, is just put the seed in the ground and give it some care. Love it, you know, water it, care for it, and food will come from it. Thank you all so much to the people who reach out to me and just, you know, who send me their videos and their pictures of their gardens. And, you know, I love that stuff. I love seeing what you all are doing. I love knowing that, you know, I'm here and I'm also planting a seed, you know, and people remind me of that. People tell me, you know, like they're growing food, you know, because they watched one of my videos or something, and that's me planting seeds, and seeds want to grow. So plant the seeds, friends. Just plant them. That's all you need. You don't need a lot, okay? I had a friend ask me, what do I need for pumpkins? Nothing. Some seeds, some water, and some soil. That's it. And the time to care for it. You just needed the time to care for it. If you care for them, they will produce a harvest for you. Thank you all so much for coming and hanging out with me today. I'm super grateful for each and every single one of you. As always, I am sending you good vibes. Send some good vibes to somebody that you know, y'all. And I'll see y'all next time.